Now, we are currently living in the trailer, but we did live in the tiny house for 3 months while we remodeled the trailer, and honestly, it was unbearable. Let me show you.
So what if you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a tiny home, and years later you had nothing to show for it?
Hey everyone, don't waste your time and let's go start this video and watch this video.
I live in a tiny home and here are 5 reasons why I hate it. Number 1, since it's only 399 square feet, I hear every single noise that goes on outside. So if a tiny tree branch falls, I hear it and it sounds like it's in the house. Number 2 is the water heater. My shower literally only gets hot for like 5 minutes. After that, it's cold because it only fits such a small water heater. I haven't looked into it to see if I can make the water heater bigger, but I need to do that ASAP because it's horrible. Number 3 is the AC. So I have 2 mini splits, one in the downstairs bedroom and then one in the living room area right by the staircase, and I'm a hot sleeper, so I would have wished that I would have gotten the other mini split inside of the loft area where I'm sleeping because I have to have a fan directly on me. Number 4 is it took me forever to figure out how I could get Wi-Fi inside of my house because I was using my parents' Wi-Fi, and since the top of the roof is metal, it was very hard to share the Wi-Fi even though I'm so close to my parents. So I had to buy a specific thing and figure it out. But for a long time it would cut in and out and I would never have any Wi-Fi or service. I live in a tiny house. Don't make the same mistake that I did. I paid $6,000 to get the water, electric, and plumbing hooked up from my parents' house to my tiny house. As they were doing it, it looked like something was not right. All of the pipes were in one trench, and we took videos and we also let the guys know we had concerns, and they told us everything was fine, blah blah blah, but we had pictures and videos for just in case. One day I came home, there was a piece of paper in my yard. It was a note from the county stating that my house was not in code. Fast forward, we ended up getting somebody to come out to check everything out. Thank God, because as they were doing the inspection, they saw that this was extremely out of code and an extreme safety hazard. So we told the company that did it in the first place. They came back out to fix it. As they were fixing it, the county came out again. The inspector ended up talking to the county and let us know that even though my parents' septic can hold mine as well as theirs, in order for both structures to be under code, they need to be on their own septic.
Tiny homes were supposed to be the answer to America's housing problem: smaller space, smaller bills, less clutter, and potentially more financial freedom. But there's a problem. Some people who actually bought tiny homes are now saying they regret the decision. So what went wrong? Is the tiny home dream not as affordable as it looks online? Or are buyers simply discovering that living small comes with some very big problems? The appeal is easy to understand. Instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a traditional house, buyers can choose a much smaller property and potentially reduce their living expenses. Tiny home videos online often show beautiful interiors, organized kitchens, peaceful surroundings, and a minimalist lifestyle. But social media usually shows the best part of the story. Once someone actually owns a tiny home, they may discover that there are additional expenses and practical problems that weren't obvious from the original sales pitch. And that's where some buyers begin questioning whether they made the right decision. One of the biggest surprises for tiny home buyers can be finding a legal place to put the home. Just because a tiny house can physically fit on a piece of land doesn't necessarily mean local regulations allow someone to live there permanently. Zoning rules, building codes, utility requirements, minimum dwelling sizes, and local permits can all become complicated, and these rules can vary dramatically from one location to another. Someone may purchase a tiny home believing they can simply put it on inexpensive land, only to discover that living there legally isn't nearly that simple. For some owners, this becomes one of the biggest frustrations of the entire experience.
Now, we are currently living in the trailer, but we did live in the tiny house for 3 months while we remodeled the trailer, and honestly, it was unbearable. Let me show you. As you can see, there is pretty much zero storage in here. There's no countertop. Every time I was making dinner, it was such a hassle. All those 2 shelves, this one is way too high. Can't really store anything. I also don't have any real kitchen cabinets. And my parents-in-law will be spending 6 months here. I want them to feel like they're not living in a shed. Yes, it's a 10 by 24 shed turned into a tiny house. But that does not mean that you have to feel like you're living in one, right? It's just no storage, no closet, no nothing. So the only thing where you can put your clothes is this 3 little compartment thingy, and then under the bed. That's just no way to live. So my plan is to put also some high cabinets next to the bed, maybe some hanging storage and some hanging cabinets on top of the bed. I don't think there's anything I can do in this bathroom. That's just what it is. I mean, that's just the first thing that came to my mind. I'm pretty sure there's 1 million more things that I hate about living in a tiny house. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad.
Hello, this is Erica with Northwest Tiny Homes, and this is our newest home on the lot, the Aspen Bunkhouse. Come check it out. We get asked all the time if we have any 2-bedroom options, and this is our first 2-bedroom option on the lot. What makes it so cool too is that you have the option to add a loft like we've done here, or you can keep it single level. This is our living room space. You would normally get a built-in entertainment center here on this wall. We opted out of that, but it is an option by default if you like it. And then we have this dining room area here in the corner. Tons of nice window light throughout this main living space in the front part of the home. This is the 2nd bedroom, and I know it's small, but it is mighty. So we are setting it up as an office. We have our little pet bed here right by the lower window as well. You can get built-in bunks that would have that lower window kind of where the lower bunk is. So you can get that if you do want to use it as a true bunk room. Otherwise, you can use it like we have as a flex space, an office, extra closet room, whatever your heart desires.
There are 3 things that I regret in my tiny house build. First off is this fiberglass shower. I absolutely hate it. It's so generic and it's so plain. Not to mention when I ordered the shower pan, it came broken 3 times. Should have gone with something tiled like this. I could have customized it and made it look so much better. Number 2 is this custom closet. As you guys have been seeing in these past few episodes, this thing has been an absolute nightmare. What I should have done is went to IKEA, picked out a pack system, and tried to build it around the IKEA system. Obviously, IKEA wouldn't have a specific staircase to my measurements, but I could have adapted it, which would have been so much easier. And lastly, planning out the electrical way better than I did. I think during the planning, I just overlooked the whole electrical and plumbing thing. So now that I'm actually building it, it's coming back to bite me in the butt. I did plan out things like where the lights were going to go and the outlets, but the air conditioner and running the correct wires was a whole other story. Not to mention, we also moved the breaker box from the inside of the bathroom to the outside of the house because obviously that's dangerous.
Here are 4 reasons why tiny homes are terrible investments. With housing costs at an all-time high and the Fed signaling rates will likely not be coming down anytime soon, many people have started looking at tiny homes as an option. But here's why that could be an unwise choice. Number 1, depreciation. While standard homes appreciate at 3 to 5% a year, you can expect a tiny home to depreciate similar to that of an RV. After just 3 years, expect to lose 30% of the original value, and after 10 years, you'll be down 62%. Number 2, expensive to build. A tiny home on average costs $300 to $400 per square foot to build, while a traditional home is closer to $150 to $200. You might say it's because you're cramming a lot into a small space, and I'd argue back saying, do you want to live crammed? Number 3, utilities. Tiny homes are typically set up to operate off-grid, which can have many drawbacks. When compared to a traditional home, they are 1, unreliable, 2, more expensive, and 3, a hassle to set up. Emptying black and gray water tanks is always going to be gross. Number 4, zoning and legal issues. This is probably my biggest concern with tiny homes. It could be extremely difficult to find somewhere to place it. With most governments classifying them as RVs, zoning is going to be a real headache.
Oh look, another tiny home company going out of business. And this story has been repeated a million times because what happens is this. Every tiny home company that starts off goes out with a bang. They have a huge social media marketing campaign and they make these homes very affordable and appealing to the masses. These people start collecting deposits and even full payments for these houses, and they get too big too fast. They can't keep up with the amount of orders that they've placed, and they get in over their heads because they won't say no when they can't do those homes. Sure enough, over time, you start seeing more and more people start making these complaints online about the tiny home they didn't get. And then the builders start making excuses on why they haven't gotten their tiny home.
I never got it.
What's his latest excuse?
They're not talking to me anymore.
And then within a year, you see them file for bankruptcy. And some of them are very malicious, and they never intended to build these houses in the first place. They made these demos just to collect the deposits and skate out of town before they got caught. And eventually they do get caught.
So what if you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a tiny home and years later you had nothing to show for it? For months now, I've been investigating Tiny Heirloom, a Portland tiny home company. Our first report exposed dozens of complaints and lawsuits, a judicial ruling of financial elder abuse, and details about the company's owners who owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid Oregon taxes, according to the State Department of Revenue. Since then, I've received so many new calls and emails from other frustrated customers. Some are asking for a state investigation.
Where are these agencies that are supposed to protect us as consumers?
The Oregon DOJ denied my records request about Tiny Heirloom, citing an exemption for current or potential litigation. Other customers are still hoping the company comes good. Catherine Hicks paid $200,000 3 years ago. She couldn't believe when our reporting popped up in her algorithm.
It was just crazy. And so I think knowing that you're not alone is both a blessing and a curse, because you realize, oh, you're not alone. I'm not the only one struggling with this, but oh, you're not alone. He's done this to other people.
The Tiny Heirloom owners admit to financial problems, and they promise to deliver all builds and make settlement payments by the end of March.
This is a capsule house. It doesn't cost $80,000, not even $50,000 or $20,000. That's right. This is the ultimate tiny capsule home. It comes fully furnished with all furniture and appliances included, 100% factory prefabricated, and can be shipped to every corner of the world. Installation takes just 48 hours. Say goodbye to rent and landlord restrictions. Your dream tiny home is right here.
This is the most affordable tiny home in San Antonio, Texas. $125,000 buys you this 2-bedroom home with 2 bathrooms, $4,000 down payment, and your mortgage payment would be $895 a month. Let's go check it out. Before we step inside, let's take a look at the driveway. It's a driveway for probably 1 car, maybe 2 if you park another one on the curb. No garage. Very minimalistic. As soon as you walk in, you probably see the entire house, but I would probably use this room for your dining table. There's a loft upstairs, so I would use the upstairs for your living room. This is gonna be your kitchen. Everything is a little smaller, as you can see, even the sink and the dishwasher. This is where your stove is gonna go, and then you have a space for your fridge on this side. There's gonna be a regular size fridge, and you have some room here for, you know, maybe like a pantry or maybe some storage, a desk. And then right next to it, you have your primary bedroom. Small room, but believe it or not, you can actually fit a king size bed if you lay it sideways. And yeah, this closet is tiny.
So Christy wants to know, what is the price on a park model RV tiny home? So I'm gonna do a walkthrough on all the models on our lot and go over the price on every single one. I'm gonna start with the most affordable one. The most affordable model on our lot is this one right here, the Maple. And as it sits, it is $49,900. It has no upgrades on it. Exactly everything you see here is what comes with it at that price. So next up is the Willow. This one starts at $54,900. It has a couple upgrades on it, like this covered porch. Just like that covered porch, it does add to the total cost because it's covered with lighting. Let's switch things up, and I'm gonna check out the Ponderosa. This is our brand new model on here. And this one actually starts, it's still dirty, it just got here from Idaho, but this one actually starts at $66,000. As it sits, it's a little bit higher because it has a nice monoslope roof. So let's check out our other Hemlock. This one has the covered porch on it with that nice pentazoid window up top. This one starts at $62,500. As this one sits at $78,000. That covered porch adds a lot, also the exterior. All right, we made it to the premium model on the loft. This is the Magnolia. Definitely one of the nicest models out here, and you can see why. Look at this giant covered porch, that nice fireplace there. This one starts at $83,000, so definitely more expensive than those other ones out there, but we know a lot of people that are just looking for some premium options.
There's a lot of pros and cons to tiny home living. Some of the pros are it's less expensive, it's more environmentally friendly, you have lower utility costs. That makes sense for some people who want to live off of a very low budget, but there are some serious cons in tiny home living. First one being they're illegal in most states. Do your research and see if tiny homes are allowed in your particular state. The second one, home price appreciation and resale value is a lot less than traditional single family living. You're going to forego potential long-term equity gains when living in a tiny home versus a traditional single family property. The third one being, you might see that you could buy a tiny home for $30,000, but do you know the actual expense of transporting that and affixing it to the foundation on the land that you're living? If you're investing in real estate and you're trying to benefit from the long-term appreciation associated with it, stay in traditional single family properties.
Then there's the financial side. Tiny homes can cost less than some traditional houses, but that doesn't automatically make them cheap. Custom materials, specialized construction, transportation, foundations, utilities, land insurance, maintenance, and other expenses can quickly add up. And financing can also be complicated because some tiny homes don't fit the traditional mortgage model. So buyers may discover that the total cost is much higher than the tiny home price they originally saw advertised. That's why the purchase price alone doesn't tell the whole story. And then there's something you can't calculate on a spreadsheet: actually living in a very small space. At first, minimalism can feel exciting. You have fewer possessions, less space to clean, and potentially fewer distractions. But after months or years, the lack of storage and personal space can become frustrating. Imagine trying to work from home, entertain guests, store seasonal items, or simply have some privacy when almost every part of your life happens in the same small area. For some people, it's liberating. For others, it becomes exhausting. The tiny home movement isn't necessarily a bad idea. For the right person in the right location with the right planning, a tiny home can offer a unique lifestyle. The problem begins when buyers focus only on the beautiful pictures and the promise of cheap living without researching the reality. Before buying one, potential owners need to think about zoning, land utilities, financing, insurance, maintenance, resale value, and whether they can actually live comfortably in such a small space. So here's the question: would you ever live in a tiny home to save money? Or do you think the lack of space isn't worth it? Let us know your opinion in the comments.
And this video is made for entertainment purpose only. Like and follow and subscribe and comment this video. An interesting part in the video, please comment and like, follow please. Thank you.